Defining the enemy. If you're going to attack an enemy, you kind of need to define them, because you don't want to be underprepared, and you definitely want to be overprepared, so you have overwhelming superiority. And of course, you want to use the element of surprise if at all possible as well. Defining an enemy is necessary if you're going to take out the enemy. Enemies are obvious. They're the obvious ones, man. They're dressed up. They look like the enemy. They got the enemy's gears and insignia. It's obvious. They are obvious. But sometimes there's subversive enemies. Subversive enemies are a little harder to define because they're hiding. They're subversive. They're not there as the obvious enemy. They're the ones that dressed up, and they may look like a school teacher. They may look like a college professor or a banker or a preacher. They may look like a politician, but they are basically subversive enemies. Oh wait, that's real life. Subversive enemies is negative self-talk. That's that stinking little thing in there that tells you that, oh, you're just not good enough. Oh, you just don't deserve that. Oh, you're not worthy. You're not prepared. You're not smart enough. That's that negative self-talk in there that undermines your critical systems for you to reveal, that reveals who you truly are as a beautiful soul, keeps you from reaching your full potential in life. Okay, those subversive things, they undermine your critical systems. One of those critical systems is your self-worth. So you can't have all this negative stuff that you're playing. You got to be able to take that out, and there's certain tools you can use to take that out. Another subversive enemy is a feeling that triggers a thought pattern. Now, if you're feeling a certain way, let's just say you lost your mom, or you lost your dad, or you lost a close relative or friend. You want to cry, but there's no opportunity to shed a few tears. And shedding a few tears is a normal part of grief. Everybody that knows anything about grief knows that you got to feel it, and you got to let it go this way instead of this way. You got to let it out. Part of that is shedding a few tears, accepting the fact that you're powerless. You got to let them go, forgive them, whatever. You go through the process of accepting and letting and releasing. Feelings of grief, those are not logical. Those are not emotional. That's something that comes up deep down inside of you. It's like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. You gotta go. You gotta push that down, or you're gonna burst out crying, or you're just gonna feel weak as you grieve for that person. And that's maybe a good, strong example of how feelings are so powerful and how they can pop up when you least inspect them. Sometimes feelings can change our perception in a lot of ways. People can be talking to you, and all of a sudden you may detect something about the tone of their voice or something they did, and all of a sudden it reminds you of somebody that from somewhere else, and now you're putting this whole big judgment on this person because your feelings got triggered by them, and it has nothing to do with that person. But now you could end up dumping on that person for the wrong reasons because your feelings got out of hand. Feelings. Once you locate a negative feeling, if you locate it and you feel it, that means that you're strong enough to engage it. That's if you can locate it and find it, you can engage it, you can take it out. The most important thing is to recognize you do have feelings. They are separate from beliefs. They are separate from emotions, certainly separate from thoughts and actions. And that is the place, that is a big part of where tools need to be used on the feelings, on the belief system, so that it's so much easier to control the thoughts and control behaviors and as we move forward. It's always important to control your thoughts. It's always important to control your behaviors while you're working on changing your feelings and belief systems. You got to use them all together. These are all great tools. We'll be talking more about thoughts and behaviors later, but right now that's the concluding on telling a war story and then going on a patrol in your feelings to locate feelings. Once you locate them, now you got to figure out and decide what to do with them.